guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hope you guys are all well and staying safe at the moment. So today I kind of want to do a different video. I thought, what can I do that actually is going to really help people? And one thing that when I was really starting my fitness journey was trying to find some meals and kind of lunch ideas that were a little bit different or not like the same old boring kind of stuff. So I wanted to come and do this video for you. I've got 3 meals. They take about 15 minutes each, hence the title. And they are just really nice, tasty meals, okay? So before we get into it, if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and please like this video if you do enjoy it. It would really help me, so thank you in advance. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna go into the first meal. Let's go.
Okay, so I've got some wraps, I have got some tomatoes, I have got 1 onion, and it's actually really small. All my onions are really small at the moment. Some kidney beans in brine, but again, you can have it in water. Some paprika, so it doesn't really matter if you have hot. I just couldn't find anything else. Oregano, some lean beef, so I tried to get medallions but they didn't have any, so I just used that, and a pepper. Oh, and garlic. So first things first, I obviously cut up the pepper. Just make sure you do it into kind of quite thin slices. I absolutely hate cutting pepper. I really hate it. The bits in the middle do not work well with me. Then I cut my onions, and I actually think I ended up going for another onion because that small one was so tiny. And cutting up the garlic and the tomatoes. I then cut the lean beef into really small slices. Again, it obviously is your own preference on how thick you want it, but you're putting it into a wrap, so obviously you don't want them too thick because they are quite hard to eat sometimes. I then put some oil in the wok and I pop the beef in. So I'm going to stir fry it for about 1 to 2 minutes, just to kind of start browning it off. And don't forget to add a little bit of salt and pepper in as well. After 1 to 2 minutes, I'm just going to add in the garlic, the onion and the pepper. I did have a little issue with my camera, hence why I'm holding it at this point. I then add in the paprika, the oregano, and I then added in the tomatoes. After that, again, as I said, I was having an issue with my camera. I then added in the drained kidney beans, and I think I used about 3/4 of the tin for both me and Matt. So once the kidney beans have been in for around a minute, I actually then added in a little bit of spinach. I just had a little bit left over and thought, why not? Once it was then wilted, I spooned it out and put it onto my hot wrap, which I had put into the microwave for around 30 seconds. So this made 2 wraps for me and Matt, but actually they were pretty kind of thick, full wraps. As you can see here, it was so tasty.
So I wanted to just go through obviously the calories and the macros in the meals. Obviously these are just average and they are kind of a rough estimate in regards to what I have weighed out. So just obviously make sure that when you are doing it, you are weighing your stuff out correctly and kind of seeing exactly what works for you, because you might want a little bit more meat or you might want a little bit less, just depending on kind of how you want to do it and what your calorie intake is for the day, okay? So for the beef burrito, I have to obviously have it on my phone because I couldn't obviously remember it off by heart. So it actually has come to exactly 400 calories, okay? Which is not bad at all. It was really filling and I definitely only needed 1. Obviously, if you wanted more than 1 wrap, then that is going to take your calories up a little bit, but I would only ever have 1 wrap. And possibly if there was some of the filling left over, I would just have it on the side because I just find that wraps are they just fill me up so much. So in regards to your macros, that was 43 grams of protein, 36 grams of carbs, and 6 grams of fat, which is amazing. So obviously I used really lean beef, so if you wanted to use something that was obviously a little bit more, then yeah, the fat might be a little bit higher. It just depends on obviously what you choose. So like I said, make sure you do count it out first to what works best for you. Okay, on to the next one, let's go.
Okay, so I've got some peppers, I've got some chopped tomatoes, Cajun seasoning, light soft cheese, chicken, stock cube, pasta, and an onion. And again, I actually used 2 onions for this because that was so small. So I first started with chopping up my peppers, and again I then chopped up my onion, but as I said, I actually chopped up 2 in the end because 1 was not enough. I sliced up my chicken. I put 2 chicken breasts in there, and that will actually make 4 servings. Drizzled a little bit of oil, and I popped on my Cajun seasoning. So I put about 1.5 teaspoons, but you can obviously add in whatever you want to make whatever flavour you want. Obviously it's a little bit spicy, which is why I've got the light cheese. So I spray with my fry light into my wok, and I'm just going to pop the chicken in. So you want to be cooking the chicken for around 4 minutes, and it should start to brown off a little bit. Then going to add in the veg, so the peppers and the onions, and again I'm going to stir fry them for again a couple of minutes, just so that they start kind of softening. After that, I pop in the chopped tomatoes, so I put a whole tin of chopped tomatoes in. I'm going to put the pasta, which I think I used 300 to 400 grams. So I then pop in some boiling water, and I pop in the stock cube and then a little bit more of the Cajun seasoning. Stirring it a little bit before I lower the heat to a simmer and pop the lid on. It is possible you might want to add a little bit more water whilst you're kind of halfway through cooking it, but again, you'll see how the pasta feels. So I did add in a little bit more water there, and you want to be simmering for around 8 to 12 minutes. So I then add in some soft cheese, and again, I actually just add it into kind of what I feel like looks best. I then mix it up. If I feel like I want a little bit more, I will add some, but actually this was perfect amount. I will put all of the recipes below, as I said. And then I just mix it together. So by this point I have turned it off, I've taken it off the heat. As I said, this makes kind of 4 to 5 portions, and then I just finish it with a little bit of salt and pepper. This is something that I would make for a lunch, just to prep and take to work, because it's so easy to just tub up, and it's so tasty.
So the Cajun chicken pasta is just so good for meal prep. It's so easy. It makes, I think it makes 4 to 5 portions. And again, obviously depending if you split it in 4 and 5, I'm gonna split it into 4, and I'm gonna tell you the macros and the calories for it split into 4, okay? So calories are around 450. Your carbs, 55 grams, that's expected obviously from the pasta. Your protein is 37 grams, which is brilliant. And the fat is 8 grams. So it's a pretty well-rounded meal. Again, if I was having that for my lunch, I possibly would make sure I had a slightly lower carb dinner, but again, 55 grams is not a massive amount of carbs, especially when you look at your whole daily allowance. So yeah, and it is so tasty. That's the one thing about all these 3 meals that I've shown you, is they're just really tasty and really, really nice. Moving on.
Okay, so I have got some tomatoes, spinach, light mozzarella, some chicken breast, 2 onions, and some chorizo. So first things first, I cut up my onion. I then cut up my chicken again into really, really small, thin pieces, around 1 centimetre in length. First things first, I'm going to pop some oil into the wok, and I am then going to stir fry the chorizo bits. You can dice the chorizo however you want to do it. I just got this from Sainsbury's. It was just easier for me to portion it out. I then add the onion, mix that around a little bit, fry it for around a minute before then adding in the chicken. So again, I just want to reiterate, the chicken is very thinly sliced. So I'm going to stir that round, and you're hoping by around 3 minutes the chicken should almost be cooked through. Don't forget to season it with some salt and pepper. Once the chicken is cooked through, I then add in the tomatoes and just stir them all together. With the spinach, I just actually add in as much as I can. I then kind of let it wilt, and then I add in a little bit more each time just because I cannot fit it into the wok. So I then get the mozzarella, the light mozzarella, and I'm literally just going to tear it up. By this point, again, I have turned the heat down, and I'm just going to mix it through, and it becomes really nice and stringy, and it is so, so delicious. After that, I literally am just going to serve it up onto my plate and add a little bit more salt and pepper. This is another really good one and a really easy one that you can take to work, and it is honestly so, so tasty. Yum.
Okay, so onto the calories and macros for the cheesy kind of chorizo chicken. So obviously this was quite low in carbs, so it was quite high in protein, high fat, and again, it just kind of depends on what works for you. So calories wise, it was 519 calories, so it's not too bad, and actually I know that the portion size doesn't look massive, but it is so filling. As we've said before, protein, because the protein's so high in it, it's so satiating that actually it just fills you up so quickly. And I always look at it, I put it on my plate and I think, oh no, I'm going to be hungry after this, and I can never ever finish it. But it's so tasty. Protein, 64 grams. 64 grams of protein in that. Isn't that mental? That is half of my daily protein in just that little meal. Brilliant. 10 grams of carbs, which is really low, and your fat is 22 grams, okay? So the fat's quite high, but you're going to expect that from mozzarella and chorizo. So if it is something that you wanted to do, I did use reduced fat mozzarella, again, just to kind of help with that, but the carbs are so low, so again, doesn't really matter too much, okay? And again, it's just whatever works best for you. You might find that having a little bit of a higher fat diet is a little bit better than a higher carb, and vice versa. So that's why I wanted to put it in, just to show you the difference. So I really hope this short, sweet video helped you with a couple of ideas for your dinners, or if not, it really just gave you an idea of what calories and macros are in certain foods, and just to see what foods work best for you. Like I said, they're quick, easy meals, something you can cook within 10-15 minutes. You just can't go wrong. And if you don't have 15 minutes in your day, then you are crazy. So easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I really hope that you found it helpful, and I will see you all again soon. Thank you, bye.